What's up, everybody? I just thought I would talk about, or I'd do a little bit of a video talking about my experience at Mad Monster Party this year and talking about the people that I met and the stories and all that fun stuff. So, I haven't been to a lot of cons in my life. I'm kind of late to the game on this. I started going to cons in 2023. Yeah, 2023. That's the first year that I went. And mine's the one in obviously North Carolina because I'm from North Carolina. This is my fifth time attending Mad Monster Party. I've been able to meet a lot of people through this, and this is a pretty small con with a lot of people. But I have last year in July I did go to Galaxy Con in Raleigh. Holy shit, that con was massive. I was able to meet a lot of people. The Scream cast was the main reason I went for that. That's somebody that cast in particular is somebody I've always wanted to meet. Matthew Lillard, Skeet, and Jamie, and of course Nev Campbell was supposed to be there, but she canceled last minute, and I was heartbroken because for whatever reason it's like something in the universe does not want me to meet her. I was actually supposed to meet her at Mad Monster in 2022. Was the first year I was supposed to go, but everything fell apart and just didn't happen. So didn't get to meet her then either, so hopefully she comes around to something where I'll eventually finally get to meet her. But anyway, as for this con, this was like I said, this was my fifth year going. So by that time, you kind of get the layout and everything of where you want to go. But this is the first year I did the RIP thing, which for them, that's their VIP. This is also the first year I was actually able to stay in the hotel that the actual con was in, which I thought that was really cool. I've stayed at a couple other hotels that was kind of just down the street, just a little bit away. But it was kind of cool and very convenient to be like, okay, I got some stuff at the con or I got some stuff signed, and I don't really want to get it ruined or hold on to it all day, so I can just run it right back up to the room. Or if I had wait times on something, I could be like, that's cool, I'll just pop back up to the room. That was super convenient and pretty relaxing, I can't lie. So this year, there wasn't a ton of guests announced this year. I've noticed, I don't know what's been going on with Mad Monster for North Carolina, but I've noticed sometimes some of the guests, the last couple, the past year or so, they haven't got as many people as they normally. The first year I ever went, that place was packed, like with vendors and celebrities, and it hasn't been the same since that first year that I went. I just don't know if something's going on with them because they do cons in Atlanta, and there's actually one going on this weekend in Atlanta, Colorado, Arizona. So they have them in 3 other places as well. But I've noticed for other places they're getting pretty stacked people, and I don't know, it's just they haven't been able to maintain the amount of people or the amount of vendors that they've had since the first year I went. I don't know if I just don't know what it is, but I hope they're able to get back to where they were when the first year that I ever went, because this is just a really fun con. I just love going to these things. For me, anybody that doesn't know me, I'm a massive horror fan. That's really what I thrive on. Like anything horror, I'm 100% there for. And now getting able to meet these people, the certain people that I grew up with in movies, and talk to them and just tell them how much I love their work and all that stuff. That's like so surreal to me. This is something I never thought I would do or be able to meet some of these people. So it's just an awesome, awesome experience, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I get to do it. I can't always afford it, but I find some way to do it because I'm just grateful. And I know life is short, and I don't know, this is something that it just makes me so happy. At Mad Monster, I just feel, and I felt the same way at GalaxyCon. I just feel so at home is the best way I can describe it. I don't have any worries in the world. All the problems and issues, whether it be work or whatever, I don't think about any of that. I'm there and I'm in the moment, and I just have so much fun, and it makes me feel, and it's almost like riding this high, especially when you meet people. When you meet these people and talk to them, you ride this high, and that's, a lot of times I'll go multiple days. Like this year I went all 3 days, and I had that for 3 days straight. So my biggest issue though is coming back home and then trying to come back to reality. That's the hardest part for me. But anyway, so I thought I'd talk about my people I met, my experiences, and all that stuff. So I guess I'll start with Friday night. The only reason I got the RIP pass this year was for Robert Englund. So he was there the first year I ever went in 2023. I got a photo op with him, but I did not even attempt to get anything signed from him because I've heard from multiple people and stuff online and other people that's worked at cons and stuff before that says his lines are so long. So I I didn't even attempt to get anything that year because I was only there Friday and Saturday, and I knew that probably standing in his line I wouldn't get to experience the rest of the con, and that was my first year going, and I wanted to get the full experience of the whole the vendors and the other people and all that stuff. So I skipped out on it that year, but I did get my photo op, and I was like, I'm good with that. So when he came back this year, I was like, shit. I said, so I really want to try to get something signed so I could actually meet the guy. Because when you do photo ops, you're very in, out, and that's it. They're all there is to it. So Friday night, that was my first goal. With the RIP thing, you got in 30 minutes early, so that was a big help. So Friday night, once we got checked into the hotel and all that stuff, went upstairs, dropped everything off, kind of had an hour or two to kill. Went downstairs, and as soon as I got in line for the event, as soon as I got my wristband, they took me to the RIP room, and I did like a quick lap real fast around the vendor room, and I went directly to Robert Englund's line. And thankfully that VIP thing kicked in because they sent me, upstairs. They asked me, if I was RIP and all that stuff, and I was able to go upstairs, and he was upstairs kind of on a separate floor, which I'm so thankful that he was because he was downstairs the first year I went, and he had his autographs off to the side in a side room where the photo ops were, and his line was so long, it was a shit show around the corner and stuff, so I'm glad that they moved him upstairs. It makes more sense for him to be upstairs. So I was able to get upstairs and wait for him, and I didn't know this until last night, but apparently there was a huge debate or a huge fiasco that happened with his line and stuff this past weekend at Mad Monster, and I did not know that. I guess because I was able to get in and out that night, so my stuff was kind of taken care of, so I didn't really know what all was going on. So, but yeah, apparently he had such an overflow Friday that bled into Saturday that from what I heard, he obviously got the people from Friday that was left over. And I think there was a cutoff from Saturday and Sunday. So I think there was just something. So I didn't even know about any of that. But I heard there was a lot of upset people, which I can understand that, especially if you're waiting in line, you don't get to meet the person. But the one thing I do love about Robert that I noticed when being up there, and I heard this beforehand, is that he really takes his time with his fans. So he's a big talker, and this dude, he's like a encyclopedia for movies and TV shows and actors, actresses. He's he could pretty much just be a film historian. And he's just got fascinating stories. So he'll sit there and talk, and you talk about movies or some of the stuff he's done in his past and stuff like that. And it's just he's filled with stories. He's one of those people that I could sit and listen to for hours on end, talk about anything, and like movies, whatever he wanted to talk about. I'm fully invested. But so I think that's why there was such a long line to meet him, because he takes such a long time with his fans, which I'm grateful for. And it's not one of those, quickly sign and next. He really talks to you and makes you feel like, you're the only one in the room. But so when I got upstairs, they put you in this little room queue. So you're up there sitting down with the other RIP people. And once you go from that room, they take about 4 to 5 people in the next room where Robert's actually at. And it's kind of cool sitting there, because really when you're sitting there, you're waiting, they'll bring, you're sitting there in these chairs, and they'll bring like 1 or 2 people up to the table to get started. But you're able to sit there and listen to the stories he's talking to other people about. So really you're in the room with him for, I think mine was about 30 minutes. I had to come back because once I got up there, I got up there about a little after 6, and they were like, yeah, you might be up there till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And I was like, it's cool, I'll wait. So about 7, yes, a little after 7:15 or so, they came and, pulled everybody, and they're like, yeah, he's got to go to a photo op, and then he's going to have dinner and all that stuff. So come back around 8:30. So that was cool. So I went back downstairs and I took another lap around the vendor floor. Then I just went up to the room and hung out in the room for, you know, 30 minutes or so. So, or maybe it's about an hour. I can't remember. But anyway, I just hung out up there. Again, convenient. So just went back and all that stuff. Then I got in the room pretty quickly with him right after that. So, and when you got in the room, like I said, you're sitting there and these people in front of you, it's really, you got to hang out with him for about 20, 30 minutes because he's talking to all these people and just sharing all these stories, and it was just awesome. And this guy, he was a couple people in front of me. He had this life-size Freddy that he made, which looked amazing. He looked so good, where it had the shirt was ripped and it had the chest of souls coming out of it and all that stuff. It was awesome looking, really cool stuff. And he actually was told when he was talking to Robert, he actually made a Chucky and a Gremlin that he was bringing, I think, the next day for Brad Dorff to sign, which, so sad I never got to see the Chucky, but that thing was awesome. So when it came time for me to finally get up there, my biggest thing is when I meet people, I have social anxiety really, really bad, so I try to overcome that. And lately it's been getting better when it comes to meeting people, mainly because I've done this so much. And I'm always worried that there's going to be that one celebrity that's kind of standoffish. She's kind of like, and all that stuff or whatever. But thankfully, knock on wood, I have not had that experience at all with anybody that I've ever met. These people that I've met at these cons have been some of the most genuinely nice, amazing people that I've ever had the chance to talk to. And I'm so grateful for that. And a lot of them, they just seem like they're thankful that you're even there. And some of them seem they're more excited that, to meet you than you are to meet them, which I think is really cool. But so Robert, when I got to Robert, amazing dude, amazing guy. We talked about, I have a huge love for the classic Universal monsters because that's what my dad showed me when I was real young, and then which eventually showed me more of the Hammer horror films, mainly the Dracula ones. And we talked about that, and that's what we kind of talked about. And he told me a story about him at the drive-in, how he's watching one of the Hammer movies, and talked about the girl he was with and how he was trying to make out with her and unhook her bra and stuff. But he got so involved. He got, with the movie, so interested in the movie that he gave up on that and just started watching the movie just because he was he was so invested in it, which I thought that was awesome. It was so cool. Just an amazing dude. I also told him I got to watch his documentary that came out a couple years ago, which you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's really awesome. It's not just the history of him being Freddy. It really dives into his whole filmography and everything that he's really done, from stage to film and everything. It's really awesome, really fascinating stuff. But one of the things I had signed, I got it right here. So I usually do 8x10s when I go. I literally have a wall in front of me right here that is my 8x10s. And then I have right here on the side of here, I have all my photo ops that I've done. Lately, for certain people, I've been taking stuff like posters and Funko Pops. So like when I met the Screamcast, I had this poster right here. I had it signed by the cast that was there. Then I have a Lost Boys poster up here that I had signed by when Kiefer and Jason when they were there, along with Funko Pops. But so I had him. This is one of the first things I had him sign. It's probably a very bad glare, so I apologize. I don't know if anybody can see that or not, or really. I hope you can. I'm trying to get the glare out of it. I can't tell if the glare's out of it or not. But essentially, when he signed it, he was like, "Hey, can I make fun of Jason?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." So he put, Jason is a puck-faced mama's boy. And he put, Freddy, and of course, Robert Englund. And then the best part was Ken Kersinger was there as well, the one who plays Jason in Freddy vs. Jason. So that's one reason I wanted to get this signed, so I could get Ken to sign right here, which he did, which I'll get into that story in a minute. But, he signed this for me, and he gives out these little cards. I just stuck this one in the back of this one. He gives out these little cards at his table, which on the back has information for his website where you can get stuff signed for him from his website, and he ships it to you and all that stuff, which I thought was really awesome. I also had this Funko Pop signed. This is one that this is a Funko alone that I've been wanting for a very long time. Damn, I got to take these out of the case. I should have took these out of the case so you can see let's see the glare. There we go. This is a Funko that I wanted for a very long time anyway, and my mom got it for me for Christmas, and it was perfect timing because it was one that I really wanted to get signed for him. and it's from Dream Warriors, the sequence with the needles for the fingers. So he either said "Let's get high" or "What a rush." So I was like, of course, let's get high. So he was nice enough to sign this for me and Freddie K. Then he put his signature on the side. Holy shit, if I can get it turned correctly. Yeah, put his signature right there on the side for me. And and they were giving away these things for authentications and all that, so I got one for this one. But just overall, a super awesome guy. He was, obviously his his autograph was pricey, but it was worth it, man. I mean, it was just cool. If you ever get the chance to meet him, I highly recommend it. He's such an amazing dude, and he's so much fun, and he's just, like I said, if you have any knowledge for movies, or if you ever have any want to have a conversation about movies or anything, like, this is the guy to go to. He's awesome. So really fun guy, really awesome dude. So Friday I had no photo ops because I originally planned on getting the Brad Dourif and the Fiona one on Friday, but I didn't know how long the lines and stuff was going to take for Robert, so I just waited till Sunday to do that. So, but anyway, after that, took all that stuff back upstairs, and then obviously the con was still going on because it was about 9:30, and I went to meet Ken Kersinger, which amazing dude, so nice, such a nice dude. He's been a stunt man for a long time. He's been in a ton of stuff that he's done stunts for movie and television, but such a nice dude, incredibly nice dude. And so I got a picture with him that I'll put here. And on top of that, we talked about some of the stunts he's done for movies, and I told him, I was like, dude, you guys just look like you had so much fun filming Freddy vs. Jason. And he said, he just talked about how it was such a blast, and how Robert was such a fun dude to work with, and how he just, had a great time. But when I slid him this, I was like, yeah, you'll probably really like this. And he goes, oh, was he at least nice about it? And he goes, well, that's some of the nicer stuff that he's written before. But he put, you can't really see it. He wrote it in green Sharpie, but he wrote, better than being a prune face. Then he signed his signature right there, and he put Jason. So that was cool. That's something I wanted to do for both of them to sign. So I was happy to be able to complete this piece in one go. I thought that was awesome. This was a last minute idea because at the time I was like, damn, didn't they do a pop set with them together? And then I thought it was super expensive. That's why I gave up on it years ago. And I was like, nah, I'll never get it. And it was about a week before the con. I looked on eBay, and thankfully somebody had it for a pretty good price. So I was like, awesome. So I snagged this, and I was happy I was able to get it signed and whatnot. And like I said, get it completed. So thankful for that. Ken Kersinger, awesome. He's the third Jason that I've met now. And all the Jason actors have been incredible. They're all fun. I've met C.J. Graham and Kane Hodder, and they're all so much fun, and they're so nice and humble. So he was an awesome dude. So after that, I ran to, I was like, well, shit, they're still here. I'll go ahead and I wanted to get Fiona and Brad Dourif's autograph. So I went to Fiona's line first, and thankfully, with the RIP pass, I was like, where does the line start for these? And she's like, oh, just come with me. So I went right to her table. And it's funny because while having the RIP pass is super nice because you're able to avoid lines and whatnot, as someone, I feel so bad about cutting people in line. Like, they'll be like, oh, yeah, just squeeze right here. And then they're like, oh, he's going to squeeze in front of you because he's a RIP. I feel so bad. I feel so bad and guilty. I was like, oh, shit. It almost feels illegal. Like, I was like, oh, shit. So I got up to meet her, and her, just like Robert Englund, you have fun in her line because you start talking to people about, stuff and all these stories and whatnot. And for anybody that doesn't know her, she came later in the Chucky movie. She's in the last two Chucky movies, and she's in the TV show. And she does such a good job. She was an awesome addition to the show and the cast in general. But yeah, she's the life of the party. Like, you can tell she's so fun and bubbly and has so much energy. And you could tell she's just there. She's just having a great time. She was so much fun. So when it was my turn to talk to her, I introduced myself, and she's very good at leading the conversation. So if you're like me, who your brain shuts off after 2 words, and you're just sitting there like, She's very good at keeping the conversation going, so you don't have this awkward dead silence between the two of you. So thank you for that. But she's very easygoing to talk to, and like I said, when it was my turn, she's asking me where I was from and how long I've been a Chucky fan and stuff like that, and we started talking about just the Chucky movies in general, and I told her that she was fantastic. She was great in the she was a great addition to the movies. They couldn't have picked a better person, because if people don't know this, she does this laugh in the Chucky movies where she becomes possessed by Charles Lee Ray in the movies. And the laugh is perfect because you're like, wow, she does such a good job of imitating her dad with that laugh. No, that's just her normal laugh, which I think is amazing. It's awesome. So literally, anywhere in the con, if you heard her laugh, you're like, oh yeah, there's Fiona. So it was just that was awesome. So, and I told her that, and I said, so what was it like, getting to work with your dad? Was it really? She goes, oh, it was amazing. And then she's like, at least for me. She goes, I don't know about, and then her and her dad were right next to each other, and she leans over and she goes, I don't know, Dad, how was it like working with me? And he was just like, what? What? Huh? What? And all that stuff like that, like he couldn't hear and stuff, and just started busting out laughing. She's like, nothing, it was just a joke. And he's like, what? And stuff. It was funny. It was a lot of fun. So that was fun. She signed a 8x10 for me, which I've already got all my 8x10s hung up and my photo ops hung up, so I apologize. So I will put the pictures here in the video, but she signed this 8x10 for me. This is a picture of her as Nika, and I love what she put, because she asked me what was one of the first Chuckies I saw, and I was like, probably Bride of Chucky. I said I was probably about 8 years old, because I always seen bits and pieces of it and stuff. And she was like, are you one of the people that had a crush on Tiffany? And I was like, well, yeah, didn't everybody have a crush on Tiffany? Wasn't that a thing? And so when she went to sign my picture, she was like, do you care if I leave you a personalized message? I was like, no, of course. And so she wrote on mine. So I'm looking up because I'm having to read it because it's up here. But like I said, I'll put a picture here. But she wrote, I love an 8-year-old who already developed a crush on Tiffany. And then she signed her name and put Nika, which is her character. That was awesome. She was a lot of fun. And then I did the table selfies, because a lot of these cons you can do combos. You can do autographs and a selfie for $80, $50, depending on, sometimes $100, depending on what the people are charging. And then sometimes you have to get just the photo ops, because they don't do table selfies, just because they're too massive, and there's no way in hell you'd be able to get through to get a picture like Robert Englund. There's no way in hell. So when it came time to do my table selfies with her, or my pictures with her, she was like, okay, I like to do a lot of different poses and a lot of different things. Is that cool? I was like, yeah, of course. So I'll put all the pictures that we took. This is a handful of them that we took. And she wanted to do all these different poses, and we took a normal one, then we took, some funny ones, and then she's like, oh yeah, just look at me and we'll just do all these different poses and whatnot. And then she's like, then I think we ended with doing the American Gothic pose. That's why I'm pretending I'm holding a pitchfork in the last one. And like I said, she was just a lot of fun. She gave me a big hug and thanked me for everything. And she was just incredible. She's one of those people like Felissa Rose, when I met her, which her signature is right back there. I met her last year. If you ever get a chance to meet her, meet her, because she's awesome. She's incredible. She's just a very fun person to be around, and she, like I said, she's the life of the party. You won't regret talking to her, meeting her. She's incredible. Then after that, I went to try to get in Brad Dorff's line, and his line was like literally empty. The people were up at the table right there. So, oh hell yeah! So I jumped in the line to do that, and then as soon as I did, one of the members was like, "Yeah, Brad's done for the evening." I was like, "That's cool. That's perfectly cool." I said, "That's no problem at all." So which is fine by me, because at that point it was almost. So it's Friday. The con goes from 6 to 11, so it was close to being 11 o'clock. So I just went back up to the room and hung out, and I ordered some DoorDash, got me some pizzas, a pizza, and watched the movie, and then crashed out on the couch or whatever. So that was my Friday night. Saturday rolls around. Don't know what it was, but I couldn't sleep for shit, even though I was tired. So I was up at like 4 a.m. on Saturday. I had maybe roughly 3 hours of sleep, if maybe that. So yeah, I was kind of feeling it. I was supposed to go. I don't really hang out a lot on Saturdays at cons because they're so massively packed. But this particular on Saturday, I went because they were offering 2 photo ops that I really wanted to do, and they were only on Saturday. So that's why I went and did. So my first photo op was at 11. No, it was at 1:30. First photo op was at 1:30, and it was with Danielle Harris, and she was going to be in the Jamie costume from Halloween 4, and I'll put a picture of that photo op right here. But she was a lot of fun. That was a really cool photo. So I did that one. That's the first one I did. And then literally right after, I had to get back in line because I had my photo op with Robert Englund and Ken Kersinger, where Ken Kersinger was going to be in his Jason costume. Awesome. Really awesome. I'll put that picture here as well. It was a lot of fun. And then by the time I left that photo op, Robert Englund's like solo photo op line was massive. It went all the way around the corner. Thank God it was massive. I was like, damn, thank God. Thank God I was able to get here quick and whatnot, because I was like, God, the amount of people. So my plan was, I went with a friend of mine. We were planning to go to the mall. There's a massive mall right across the street from where this convention's at. And we were going to go see the new Captain America movie that Saturday. So after that, he was already back up in the room hanging out, waiting on me. And then I saw where Danielle Harris is. I just went to see where she was going to be because I planned on snagging her autograph and stuff on Sunday. So I just, went around to see where she was going to be sitting in the room and whatnot. And I happened to see, I was like, oh, well, her line's not too long. So I was like, well, shit, I'll just stand here and meet her real fast. So where I was standing, of course, was the wrong place. So I had to go back out in the hallway and wrap around to meet her. Her line wasn't long, massively long or anything. By the time I got into it, after a while, it was filling up. But she was out at lunch or something like that, so she was taking a minute, and so it took a while for her to get back. At this point, I am so tired because I'm running on no sleep at all, and I was like, damn, this is really starting to hit me. So I'm standing in line, and I finally get up to where I'm close to the table. Because I didn't see a person there for the RIP people, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just stand in line. It ain't no big deal. And so when I got up to her table, there was a guy behind me that was like just complaining the whole fucking time about, oh, it's taking so long. And then when I got around the thing where I could see her table, these 2 dudes were talking to her. And he's just like, oh, they're talking so much. Just come on. So I was like, dude, get out of my ass, first of all. But when I got up to her table, I'm a massive fan of her from Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and of course I loved her in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. I think that's just a great movie. She's been sprinkled in everywhere and a lot of stuff throughout my childhood. So, and of course I'm not a massive fan of the Rob Zombie Halloween movies, but I love her character in those movies. I think she's fantastic in those. Then I'm a fan of her podcast as well that she does with Scout Taylor Compton. So when I got to her table, this is the picture I had her sign for me. I'll put it right here. She wrote to Michael, "Happy Halloween," Danielle Harris. But talking to her, but she's like, wow. She's like, you're my first Michael of the day. She goes, normally I get a lot of Michaels. I was like, yeah, I figured. I said, I'll take that as an honor since I'm the first one of the day. I do appreciate that. But I got to tell her, I loved Halloween 4, and she was a big part of my childhood. And I was like, I love her podcast that she does with Scout. And I was hoping that Scout would get announced because she's somebody else that I've always wanted to meet. So, but I think she had other stuff going on. So, and one thing I always do with people when I meet them, the first thing I always ask is like, hey, I'm like, hi, how are you doing? And then I always say, thank you so much for being here. That's always my thing, because these people could be doing anything else. They, whatever they wanted, they could be doing anything else. They could be at home relaxing, doing nothing, but they chose to come here, and they're gracious with their time. So I always thank them for being here no matter what. But so yeah, I met her and told her all that stuff, and she was so nice, so nice and fun. And I got a picture with her at the table as well, which I'll put right here. But yeah, she was so nice and sweet and caring, and She's another one that if you ever get a chance to meet, I recommend meeting her because she's just fantastic. Finally, after all that, I ended up going to the mall like we were supposed to. Went to some stores, hung out, and ate and all that stuff. And it was about 7 o'clock or so. And we were supposed to go see the movie, I think at 7. But I told my friend, I was like, dude, I am so tired that I will probably pass out during this movie. That's why there hadn't been a review for that for that movie. My plan was to go see it Saturday and review it along with the monkey and all that stuff, and it just did not happen. I was so tired. I've still not seen the movie. I was so tired. He's like, no, man, that's cool. So after we ate and stuff, we went back to the room, hung out and talked for a little bit, and then it was like 8:30, and we were like, yeah, we're going to bed. That was probably the earliest I've ever went to bed in my life. I was so tired. So yeah, that was pretty much. We were planning that usually on Saturday nights they do an auction. That's really cool because they have a charity there that's called Scares That Care that always have some awesome stuff that they raffle and you can auction and try to buy and whatnot. They had some really cool stuff this year, like some dioramas. They had an entire like picture thing that had 2 of the film cells from Aliens, and then they were all signed by the Aliens cast, which was awesome. So they usually do that, and then they have something called Scarioke at the restaurant down there, and they have an after party and a costume party. We fully intended on, once we got back, that was something we were going to go do. And they also have like a trivia thing that I thought would be really cool and fun to go to. Fully intended to do all of that. Since we were right there in the hotel, we're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I've never checked this out before, so this is something that I'd like to do. Fuck no, passed out. I was gone. So all that went out the window. So maybe, hopefully, in August, if I get to go in August or next year or something like that, it might be fun to try to do. So Sunday rolls around. We got to check out of the hotel and stuff by Sunday morning, and I have a photo op for Sunday. It's not until later in the day. So I was like, well, let me get the last little bit of autographs that I need and whatnot. So Brad Dourif was really the last one that I had for the day because I was since I got rejected Friday. So I mean that was fine. So while I was waiting for stuff with him, him and Fiona had a panel earlier in the day, so I was able to get into the panel and watch their Q&A panel. Really, really good panel. And then after, the girls from Nightmare 4 was starting a panel. They didn't get it started till a little bit later, probably because they had a big line and stuff they were trying to get through. So I didn't get to see much of their panel because by the time it started, I had to sneak out and go to my photo op. So I got in line for that photo op. It was my last photo op, and it was for Brad and Fiona, the duo of them together. So I'll put that one here. Came out really good. I really enjoyed it. I love that Mad Monster puts these backgrounds in for your picture. I think they're about the only convention that does that because most of the other conventions I see, it's just whatever the basic backdrop is. Like when I met people for GalaxyCon, like the background is just the GalaxyCon thing, and that's it. So I think that's why the pictures take a little bit longer here. So after that, I went back to the table where Brad was at, and my friend, he's pretty much mingling and just chilling somewhere while I'm running around in all these places. So I was in line for Brad. I got literally up to the table and was about to give my money and stuff to the handler, and then the fire alarm goes off. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So, but the funniest thing was to me that no one reacted. The fire alarm went off and everybody's just like, even the people signing were like, eh. Like Fiona, she kept talking. Brad, I think looked at him and was like, I'm not going nowhere. So I thought that was funny, and I heard like some of the handlers being like, well, we're just waiting on to get the signal from so and so because, he's the one to let us know. We don't really know what's going on or what happened or whatnot. So I had that go on. So I was talking to the handler, and literally I was about to give him my money, and then the guy comes in. Okay, everybody's got to get out. Everybody has to evacuate. And everybody's like, fuck. So we all go outside, and I'll do that stuff outside. And then, of course, we're waiting for the fire trucks have to get there and all that stuff, and they're walking around. And finally, about 10, 15 minutes of that, we get cleared, and then I get to go back in. Still do not know what happened with that. I have heard so many mixed things of what happened. since we went. I don't know. I heard that it was from somebody there that it was a sensor that went off somewhere. I heard the kitchen staff set it off. I heard somebody went out the emergency door. I heard there was a lost child and somebody pulled the fire alarm to lock the building down. So I don't know. I have heard a massive amount of things. So I don't know which one was true. That'll just be one of those things that whoever set the alarm off, it's between them. They know, and that's it. So finally got back to the table, and then they finally got Brad to come back. And so I was able to get my money and whatnot, and give the money and pay for my stuff and whatnot. And I expected Brad to be more on the quiet side. Yeah, even in his panel, he was very talkative and had a lot of energy, and that was cool because, like I said, I expected him. I've heard from people, I guess depending on what day you see him, sometimes he can be a little bit more quieter, which is, I mean, it's understandable. I totally get it. Again, this guy could be doing anything else. So I finally get up to him. I always say, "Hi, how you doing?" And thank you sir, so much for being here. He's like, "Oh yeah, of course, no problem. I love being here. I'm having a lot of fun." And I told him, I said, "Yeah, thank you so much for being such a big part of my childhood with Chucky and stuff." And he goes, "Oh," and he even stopped signing and looked up at me. He said, "You know what? It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure." And I said, "I know I probably saw Bride of Chucky or any of the Chucky movies way too young, but I had a blast with them because I remember being at my grandparents' house and me and my cousin, Bride was on and Child's Play 2 would be on, which is two of my favorites. And Child's Play 2, I remember us just having such a fun time watching them, me and my cousin. And he asked me, "So how old were you when you watched it?" And I was like, probably 8, maybe. And I think that's what I told Fiona. And he was like, "Well, that's better than some people." I was like, that I've talked to who've just, came out of the womb ready to watch him and stuff like that. And we kind of laughed about that. And he signed my Funko Pop, which he has such a small signature because I'm used to these people having these massive, massive signatures that take up about the whole thing. But I don't know if you can see this or not, but he signed my Child's Play 3 Funko Pop. He said to Michael, and he put Brad Dourif and then Chucky. And I have so many Child's Play 2 pops, and Child's Play 2 and Bride is, like I said before, is my favorite. Those are two of my favorites. But I could not decide on which Child's Play 2 pop for him to sign. For the life of me, I've debated for weeks for which one to him to sign. And I really like Child's Play 3. It's not my favorite, but I do enjoy it, despite people hating that one. I do really enjoy it. I think this Funko Pop is awesome looking. I think this is one of the coolest Funko Pops. So I was like, you know what? And I was like, yeah, screw it. I'll just have him sign this one. And I like I said, he's got such a small signature. So I was like, damn. I said, I'm used to people taking up the whole plastic or the whole picture. But yeah, so that was really cool. Like I said, I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I'm trying to get it to where it's not glared, but yeah, he was awesome. He was so cool and humble, and he was just a really good dude. I felt like I got to meet like these, legends of horror this past weekend, and I had a lot of fun with it. And I think so. After that was pretty much it. I didn't really buy a lot. Like normally, there's a couple vendors that are usually there in February, just there in February because for North Carolina they have one in February and August are the two for them. And some are only there in February, and vice versa. But I barely bought anything, mainly because I spent so much money on signatures. Because Robert England's, I got 2 things from him, and Brad Dourif was like $100, and then I spent so much money on these photo ops and whatnot too. And that's, like I said, it's a lot. So I was like, you know what? I still gotta buy groceries when I go home. So, and I was like, plus I got some bills to pay. So I was like, I'm good. I was like, normally because I'm such a collector and a whore for stuff like that I'm like, oh, look at all this awesome stuff that people have. And I'm like, I gotta have it. And I only bought two Funko Pops and a movie was all I bought. And it was just 2 Funkos I was looking for. And that was it. I was actually kind of proud of myself. There was a couple things that I wanted to get, and there's one particular vendor that I go to every February that I wanted to get something from, but I held off. Hopefully he'll be back next February if I get to go, if I'm lucky enough that I get to go. I'm not going to jump the gun, but if I'm lucky enough to where I can go, I hope that I'm able to do it. I'll try to, get something from him then. But yeah, after spending so much money on between autographs and photo ops, it's like, you know what, I'm good. So after that, I ended up, going home and whatnot, stopped somewhere to eat on the way home, and that was pretty much it. I had a really good time. It was different being able to stay at the hotel, and then this is the first year I went all 3 days. Normally, I either go like Friday and Sunday, or Friday and a little bit of Saturday. I love going Friday. Friday is my favorite day because it's so chill. It's like calm before the storm. And then Saturday, it's like Jesus Christ. All these people coming in for Saturday. Plus, on Saturday, sometimes there's only certain guests that's there just Saturday and Sunday, or Friday, Saturday. Then, like for my thing for my photo ops, they only do certain particular photo ops on a Saturday. Like the Ken and Robert one, he was not going to be in his costume, but just Saturday. And then the one with Danielle, she had two where she does the costume and then she does a bloody one. And which the bloody one would have been a lot of fun, but it was like later in the evening, and I was supposed to go to the mall after that, so I didn't really want to go to the mall while it looked like I just got out of a crime scene. But but that would have been cool. But yeah, those were just being offered on Saturday. And then, some of the nightmare ones were just being offered on Saturday and whatnot. So it all depends. So my goal was like, I just popped in for the photo ops, and I was gonna, haul ass, until Sunday. But going all 3 days was fun. It's exhausting. It's so tiring, and I could tell because when I came back, thank God I was off Monday. But when I came back Monday, I pretty much slept the entire day Monday, where I just was like, holy shit, I need to go to sleep. I got to catch up on some sleep. But it was so much fun. If you ever get the chance to go to a con, you love horror movies and scary movies and things in general, being able to meet these people, and like especially if you got a big passion for it, and if you want to meet these people, like I said, there's some of the nicest people I've ever met. Like some of these interactions I've had with people has been so near and dear to me. Like when I got to meet Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich from Scream, we talked about, how I had, anxiety and stuff like that, and how really bad anxiety and like depression and whatnot, and how Scream is like a big comfort movie for me for that. And they were so nice and stuff. Some of the stuff they said to me, I'll never forget. And same with Jason Patrick and Kiefer Sutherland. Meeting, they were so humble people, so nice, and genuine people. And then Felissa Rose, when I got to meet her last year, incredible, absolutely incredible. Got to hang out with her for almost 20 minutes at her table, just talking. And I hope that she comes back to a con just so I can pop in to say hi again, because I'll happily go meet her and talk to her again. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Like it's a lot of fun. It's exhausting, but it's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend going. It's so fun. Like I said, I love Mad Monster. It's like a home away from home at this point. I feel like it's the one place where I fit in, because I love movies so much. I love horror movies in particular, anything scary. So it's like when I walk in, I'm like, my people. So I don't know. It just feels like I said, any issues you got. The best way I can describe it, how I told somebody, is like, for anybody who don't know me, I used to be in a band, and when I would play on stage, when we played shows and stuff on stage for the 20, 30 minutes we were on stage, everything else melted away. And any issues, problems, whatever had, all that stuff, it didn't matter. I didn't think about any of that stuff. I was focused in on my time on the stage, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. And it's the same way with going to these cons. I'm in that moment, and everything else fades away, and I'm there, and I'm present, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to tune all that BS out and enjoy this. So I love doing it because I love the way it makes me feel, and it's just incredible getting to talk to these people and meet these people I never in my life thought I'd have the opportunity to meet. So I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful, and yeah, if anybody wants to go to one, I highly recommend. If you're in North Carolina, like I said, they have two. They do August and February. Then they also do them in Atlanta, Colorado, and Arizona. And then of course there's I found a dude on YouTube the other day going through all these cons, and it's unbelievable the amount of cons. You could literally go to a con every single weekend, and I was like, who the fuck has got money for that? But yeah, I'm hoping I'll be checking out. I'm hoping to go to one in Raleigh again in July, the GalaxyCon, because David Howard Thornton is going to be there. And then Lauren Lavera got announced, who I got to meet at Mad Monster back in August one year. So I'm hoping to do like a photo op with her, and I'm hoping to do one with David in Art the Clown costume and whatnot. And Elliot Fullman got announced as well, the one who plays Jonathan, her brother in the franchise. So I'm hoping to, like I said, to have like some group photos and whatnot with that. I really, really hope that Damien gets announced. He's one that I really want to meet. And all the cons he's at currently is nowhere around me, so I'm hoping he gets. I know there's one in South Carolina in September that's going to have more of the Terrifier people, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to juggle like 2 or 3 different cons. There is no fucking way. If I was making $45 an hour or something like that, maybe we could talk about it. But anyway, so if you guys are looking for a con, whatever kind of con you're into, go. Like GalaxyCon is more of a, it's not just a horror con. It's more of like, it's got everything: anime, action movies. It got some horror people. Like I said, it's all over the place. It was, like I said, I mainly went for the Scream people, but I was able to also meet Sam Raimi, which was wow for me. That was a big thing for me. And then I got to meet. I was looking at the picture. Charlie Cox and John Bernthal, which was another big, moment for me. But anyway, so that was just my experience at Mad Monster Party this year. I don't know if anybody will watch this video. It was just my little thing of talking about the people I met and whatnot, my experience. But if you guys enjoy it, please, like the video, comment on if you've been to any of the Mad Monsters. I'd love to know any of the people you've met, and I'd love to know your stories and the encounters you've had with whoever you met. So please comment below and let me know. And as always, guys, please check out my other videos if you haven't. If this is the video you found me on, I normally do movie reviews, so I have a little bit of a catalog on my channel. I just started doing movie reviews this year, so please go check those out if you haven't. And as always, please, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So I'll happily see you guys in the next one. Thank you.